He probably took too many nuts. Yo, welcome back to the channel, boys and girls. In today's video, we will be bedding in the brakes on my Winspace T1500L frame set because nobody told me you're supposed to do that when you have new disc brakes on your bike. So I'm going to show you the process that I'm going to be using today to bed in the brakes. So stay tuned. Oh, and by the way, my kit today is this jacket is courtesy of Monton Sports. As you guys know, I am an ambassador of them, and I will link down below a code for you guys to receive 15% off your entire purchase from Monton Sports. We are rocking the Specialized, I don't know which helmet this is, the Evade I think it is, and this high-vis yellow, and we are also rocking these awesome looking cool shades. I forgot which model these are, but yeah, I'll put that down below as well. Oof, check that out, guys. Winspace T1500 aero frame set with, of course, the Winspace Hyper 65 aero wheels as well. Now, I know you guys have been asking me for a review, and trust me, it's coming very, very soon. In fact, it might be here in the next few days. But the reason why we have to bed in the brakes today is because I just want to make sure that this bike is ready to go for that first really warm day, which should be this weekend. And I just want to make sure I can wake up, grab the bike and go, and that I don't have to work out any kinks out on the road. And the brakes is the last thing that we have to do. Once we have that, we will be ready to go. Alrighty, so I remember the first time I went on a quick test spin with my Winspace T1500, and man, the brakes were squealing like crazy, and I couldn't figure out why this was happening. But apparently, you're supposed to bed in the brakes whenever you set up new disc brakes. Man, I gotta say, man, there's always some quirks dealing with disc brakes. So I'm not saying I regret switching over from rim brakes to disc brakes, but there's just so many extra steps that you have to consider when trying to set up your disc brakes. All right, guys, now the principle behind bedding in the brakes, it's pretty straightforward. The idea is that we need to bake up and transfer some of the brake pad material onto the rotors so that the calipers in general will have something to catch on. Normally, when you have brand new brakes or even brakes that are secondhand or used, you'll need to make sure the surfaces are clean, free of any contaminants, as well as any sort of mineral oil, so that we can begin the bedding in process. So this is the mistake that I made when the first time I went on that test drive and the brakes were squealing like a pig that was on its way of jumping off a cliff. So I had to go back home, I had to clean everything up, I had to use a little bit of isopropyl alcohol to clean all the mineral oil off, make sure everything was clean and free of any sort of dirt. I had to sand down the brake pads as well to make sure we had a clean surface to work on, clean off the rotors, all this stuff, guys. And so now that I've done all that, we can officially begin in the bedding process of the brake pads. So the method that I'm going to be using today, guys, to bed in the brakes, it's going to be a three-step process. The first step is going to be, and we're going to be doing this individually with each brake, is I'm going to ride about 5 minutes on each brake. I'm going to keep pedaling while simultaneously dragging the brakes. And what this is going to do while I drag the brakes while I'm pedaling is it's going to heat up the rotors, and it's going to begin the process of transferring some of that brake pad material to the rotors. That's step one. Now, step two is we're going to accelerate to about 15 miles an hour, and then we're going to gradually brake down to about a walking pace, which might be about, I don't know, 5 to 6 miles an hour. We're gonna do this process about 7-8 times. And then the third step, guys, which is the final step, is we're gonna accelerate to about 20 miles an hour. And then we're gonna use pretty decent brake pressure to slow down to, again, to about a walking pace. Now, the idea behind this is that we don't want to slam on the brakes because it's going to transfer an uneven amount of brake pad material onto the rotors, which can cause some problems later. So this is the three-step method that we're going to be using, guys, and hopefully when we're all done, we will have the proper braking force that we need. And so, yeah, we'll see if I can lock up the brakes. No, I'm not going to do that. All right, guys, so let's get busy. Now, I'm already prepared for all you guys to come roast me on the comments telling me, hey, that's not the way you bed in brakes. That's way too long of an intense of a process to do. But the reason why I'm doing this three-step method is because here in Chicago, because it's so flat, we don't have these long descending hills where I can just descend down and bomb down to 25 miles an hour and slam on the brakes. We don't have that here. So because, this is sort of my first foray into the world of disc brakes, I figured I want to use whatever process is going to work best for me so that I can have safe braking when I'm out on the road. Ew, yo, that's so gross. Yo, my man got straight up murked, man. He probably took too many nuts. Just kidding. It's so hard to say goodbye. Yo, that's wild, man. I told you, man, Chicago's a dangerous place, man. That's why they call it Chirac. I'm just kidding. Anyway, all right, so we've already done the first 2 steps of the bedding in brake process, guys, which was the first step was to drag the brakes for 5 minutes on each brake. Step number 2 was to accelerate from 15 miles an hour down to about 5 miles an hour. And so the final step we have to do, guys, is to accelerate to 20 miles an hour and then brake down to about 5 miles an hour. And then for this one, we're going to do both brakes simultaneously. All right, so let's get busy. Alrighty, guys, and we finally have bed in our brakes. Everything is braking as it should, and I have nice, safe braking now, even out in the wet weather. So that's gonna wrap up today's video, guys. And as always, if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, please feel free to leave them down below. And I will check you guys on the next one. Thanks for watching. Peace.